And you're listening to the Polka Showcase on Saturday with your host Al Markic and guest Milan Racaonvic. And I haven't seen you, Milan, for years. You still alive?
Absolutely, Al. I'm here, breathing, in full living color right in front of you.
I'm glad to hear it, Milan. It's been a long, long time.
Boy, it sure has.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
You're a native of Euclid or Cleveland?
Euclid.
You were born there?
No, I was born in Cleveland. And,
born in Cleveland?
After I got out of the service, then we moved into Euclid, and I've been living there ever since.
Yeah. Okay. Bring that mic up a little more to your mouth. All right. And you got into the music business? How?
Oh, many, many, many years ago when I was a young boy, started taking lessons at Schubert's and then at Hodel's on St. Clair, and finally started my own band when I was about 16 years old, and then I went into the service. I came back out and played with some groups and then started up again.
How'd you get started?
How'd I get started?
What possessed you to be a musician?
Well, I am of Serbo-Croatian heritage, Al, and I grew up in the 76th Street, St. Clair area, and you know what that is, strictly Slovenian.
Right.
Everybody around me played accordions. Rudy Kozan, I'm sure you remember him from Norwood Pharmacy.
Right.
He was right next door. I heard him playing. Across the street we had some other fellows playing. I mean, I was completely surrounded by accordions, so there's only one way to go, with the Slovenian accordion.
So you started playing with anybody, or you started your band right away?
I started playing with some other group, but then I broke away after I got out of the service, and we had let's see, there was, I believe, Denny Merrill. Remember him?
I remember Denny.
Played
Yeah.
with Joe White.
Yeah, right.
Right, Denny Merrill.
He played bass, didn't he?
Right, he was a bass player.
Yeah.
And Bill Kabbalah,
I remember him.
sax player. He now plays with George Ignati. And also there was Louis Pavlik, played drums. And Louis and Denny both ended up with Joe White.
Right.
As I went a different direction.
And then with, what's his name, who went to California? What's his
Stan
name?
Blount?
Stan Blount.
Stan
Right,
Blount, yeah.
Right, yeah.
Those were the good old days when we used to play for $12 a night. We used to drive all the way to Windsor, Ohio for $12 a night.
And that was big money, too.
Boy, it sure was.
All right, I'll tell you what. I have to do a commercial here, and then we'll be right back. And we're back with the Polka Showcase. Your host, Al Markic, and guest, Milan Racaonvic. Milan, last Sunday with my sidekick, Harry, we had a request for a tune that I think that you were the first one that came out with it. It was called Silver Dollar.
That's correct. As a matter of fact, I was listening to the show. That's when you had Joe Gadina on.
That's right.
And Helen Zach called in, and she had requested the Silver Dollar Polka, and you had played Harry's version. And I'd like to dedicate the original version, which we cut. That's when Harry played with me about 17, 18 years ago. And dedicate this to Helen Zach, the original Silver Dollar Polka.
You can throw a silver dollar down on the ground and make it roll because it's round. A woman never knows what a good man she's got until she turns him down. So listen, my honey, listen to me. I want you to understand. As a silver dollar goes from hand to hand, a woman goes from man to man.
Okay, we're back here. Are you picking me up there?
Yes, I can hear you.
You can hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
I can't hear me.
Okay,
Now maybe do I hear it? Is your needle moving?
No.
No, huh? Well, something's wrong. No, it's up.
Yeah, I'm just...
Needle moving? All right.
Yeah, it's moving.
Okay. Well, I don't hear myself, so... Do you hear it? No.
No?
No. You got the last switch down over there? Yeah? Yeah, the pot is up. You maybe have to turn it up further. Yeah, now you got it. Okay, yeah, get it up there.
Okay.
Oh. What happened?
I think we lost the mic.
Well, Milan, you start talking.
I don't believe this.
This is what you call a comedy of errors.
Well, this is what happens.
Fun time.
someplace,
Fun
yeah.
time. Absolutely. That's
Yeah.
just too serious anyway.
I'll hold the darn thing. How's that?
When it broke off?
Yeah, it broke off.
Oh, gee.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're
Poor,
stuck with the...
poor job over here, yeah. So, you started playing music, you say, when you were at a young age, and you started your first band when?
Oh, when I was about 18, graduated from high school, and that didn't last too long, maybe 2-3 years. And then several years later, I went into the Army for 2 years, and then when I came out, we started again.
So you played how long then in the music business?
Oh, God, Al, it's got to be not as long as you.
Well,
That's for
but
sure.
there's not too many guys as old as me.
I believe I was playing for somewhere in the area about 30 years.
About 30 years, huh?
Yeah,
Yeah.
a long time. And I
That's a long time.
I enjoyed it. I enjoyed every minute of it. I enjoyed entertaining people. At the end of the night, I was so exhausted that I'd have to sit down before I would leave the place where we were playing. But it was enjoyable. I enjoyed watching the people dance and being able to entertain them.
Well, you got around to quite a few places.
Oh, sure. We played all the places in town. Then we played up in Milwaukee. Some of the same places you and your groups have played. Chicago, Milwaukee, many places in Pennsylvania. And that was all enjoyable. As a matter of fact, that's how I got into the business that I'm in now, as a result of taking bus tours out, polka groups on bus tours with us.
Yeah, you no longer play now.
No, I haven't played for about 17 or 18 years, and as you're well aware of the fact that Harry Fink took over the band when I retired.
Good old
And,
Harry.
Yeah, good old Harry. He took over. My buddy Harry.
Yeah.
Hey, I'll tell you, he was great. We had some great times together, and he was very, very helpful to me.
Well, that's good. Well, I'll tell you what. We got time here. Well, let's get ready for another tune there. You announce it, and if you want to send it out to somebody, well, you can.
Oh, great. Yeah, this is the Dawn Waltz, and what this is, it's really a song that was written by the Slovenian musician from Yugoslavia, the former Yugoslavia, I should say, maybe Slovenia, Mihaj Dovžan. He played the zither. And I heard this tune, and I thought it was just fantastic. I'd like to play it on accordion. So I'd like to send this out to my aunt and uncle if they're listening, if you can catch the show in Seven Hills. And it's my aunt and uncle, Ann and Mio Paunovic, and it's the Dawn Waltz.
It runs up the hill. And you're listening to 1560 WATJ, where we play America's popular polka and waltz favorites. And it's the Polka Showcase with Al Markic and guest Milan Racaonvic. Now it's time for these messages. And we're back with the Polka Showcase with Al and Milan Racaonvic. You're on, Milan.
Well, you ready to play another tune?
Well, we can.
This is a nice, relaxed show, Al. I feel very comfortable here.
Good, glad. I'll tell you what. Before we play it, we've got about 4 minutes there, and I don't want to get into the news with the Gavin. We'll get in with the music You know what time it is? It's 2 minutes there?
2:10.
Okay, fine. You can time it on your back chart and we'll know what the heck we got. But anyhow, you're in the tour business now, not in the music business.
That's correct. I'm in the travel business, and I'm known as a group tour operator, which is that we publish a catalog with tours in it, and it's strictly for groups. We don't do individuals. And we go all over, Al. We do United States, Canada, Mexico. As a matter of fact, I just came back from Mexico. 85 degrees, which I was hoping would be your weather forecast today, but that isn't what you said. That was a little disappointing. And we also do cruises and air tours. And we have a great time, and we have great people that really travel with us.
Well, I'll tell you, I've ran into some of your tour groups. You've got Al Strukel and his wife
Vida,
yeah. Right? Doing some of the tours for you. I ran into him a couple times, I believe, up in Canada for Walter Ostonic's Sausage Festival.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And the place that burned down there, what was that? Do you remember that? The Three Sons owned it?
Trancas Manor.
Trancas Manor,
Yeah.
That's the place. Okay. All right. Might as well announce this next song and we'll get into the music.
Okay, it's Gurmic's Polka, and this is named after Bill Gurmic, who was co-sponsor of the album with me, which was called RG Records.
Oh, yeah?
Of course, they're not available anymore. I have about 5 left for posterity.
Well, you
And
still got 5 left. So.
Right.
Right. Okay, let's hear it.
Good afternoon, Chardon and Northeast Ohio. Thanks for listening to 1560 WATJ. Now here's the weather forecast for today. Sunshine and a high of about 42. Tonight, cloudy, possible rain, low of about 30. Tomorrow, rain, showers, and then clearing later in the afternoon, high of between 45 and 48. At 1:32, the current temperature is 38 degrees under clear and sunny skies for a change at your home of America's popular polka and waltz favorites, 1560 WATJ. And now stay tuned for Polka Showcase with Al Markic and his guest, Milan Racaonvic.
And Milan, I guess we're back. What do you got to say about that?
I still don't like the weather report.
Well, I'm sorry,
I'd still rather hear 85 degrees.
Sorry, I can't change it for you.
Maybe I should go back to Puerto Vallarta, Mexico, from whence I came.
Yeah. You want to change that tape on the cassette? Okay.
Terraced, what do you call it, a terraced hill or whatever the terrain.
Well, it looks like a bowl, but it's beautiful
it was
on the side of a mountain.
fantastic.
Yeah.
And there was, Roman Passetti and his group was there, Frank Kalik, we were there, the Vadnals and a few other, and it was just fantastic. Then after that, on the second day, we went to another town. I don't recall the name, but what they did is they put each band on an ox-drawn cart. And as we were going through town, we were all playing on these carts. And that was just, it was phenomenal. I just can't explain how enjoyable it was.
Isn't that at Scofialoca?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, because when I was there, I know they put us on one of these carts, and, well, I guess you can probably put about 15, 20 people on one of these carts. The seats are on two sides, and the middle is open.
Yeah.
And they run you through town and then up the hill and up to the place where the bands play. And,
you're playing on the carts.
Yeah, you're playing on a cart going up.
Yeah.
Right.
Ox carts, I think.
Ox cart?
the ox carts. And then another
Well,
highlight.
we weren't lucky. We had a horse.
Well, another highlight was when we were at Lake Bled. You know, you have these gondolas. You go from shore to the island.
Right.
Well, again, we had the band with us, and we didn't do anything going out to the island. But as we returned from the island, rather than going diagonally across, the fellow who was in charge of operating the boat went directly to shore, and then he went alongside of shore, and that's when we started playing. On the gondolas,
Yeah.
everything stopped. All the waitresses, the chefs, the waiters, everybody came out on the balconies of the buildings to watch these crazy Americans, what they were doing.
You went past the hotel.
Right, past the
Right.
hotels on the water. We
Right.
were on the gondolas,
Yeah,
and
right.
it was a memorable experience. As a matter of fact, I still think I have a plaque in my office from the government of the then Yugoslavia, a plaque of appreciation for attending that 4th of July in 1973.
Yeah. You
It was
went. You
great.
probably went past Tito's summer home there.
Yes, we did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful area. On the other side of the lake, right.
Oh, that was. It's a beautiful country. It really is.
In 1989, I drove around the whole lake. We had a car and drove all the way around it. It's a beautiful ride. Nice to see.
Well, you've been there many times. More than me.
About 10 times.
Yes, we were
And
just
I'm not in
there.
the tour business.
We were just there the one time, and I haven't returned since. But I did have an opportunity to see the place where my mother was born and take movies of it, and she really appreciated that.
Yeah, it's a beautiful country.
Sure
Real
is.
nice. All right, I'll tell you what. Let's get into another tune here.
Okay, this was named for a very dear friend of mine who was an ardent and avid follower of the band, and fortunately many years ago he passed away. His name was Milan Racaonvic, but everybody affectionately called him Micho. So we dedicated this song to him. It's called Uncle Micho's Polka.
And we're back, and who are the guys on that recording?
On saxophone, we had Mel Petrowski, excellent man. Denny Bucar performed with this on this album with us on bass, and we had John Wonderly, excellent piano player, and also Bob McGuire, who is in the Harry Faint band right now. And then we had this fellow named Harry something.
Harry what? Who?
Harry. Oh, Faint.
Faint?
Yeah, Harry Faint.
Oh, you mean my Sunday morning sidekick?
Yeah. He was the drummer on this one.
Geez, you let him play drums for you?
Well, the kid was out of work, so I thought I'd give him a break, let him play on the album.
Felt
He had
sorry
nothing
for him.
else. Yeah, I felt sorry. I had nothing better to do.
Okay.
I wonder if Harry's listening.
If he is, I'll know about it tomorrow.
I will too.
Yeah, gee, okay. So Harry took over the band then, huh?
That's correct. When I quit about 17, 18 years ago, Harry took over the band, and at that time, I believe it was Bob Oblocki who replaced me, and Bob was having some medical problems, and I think George Stadehart came in after Bob, and then Mel left, and John Zippe came in, and that's the current band that he has right now. Excellent group. Very
Yeah,
good
real
group.
good. I'll tell you, Bob Oblocki was no slouch on the accordion either. He played a
No.
good accordion.
Bobby was very good, and he was a great guy.
Yeah, and he
Great guy.
had to quit, huh?
Yeah, he had medical problems.
Yeah, that's a shame.
I believe it was back problems and the weight of the accordion. You know that accordion, people don't realize it, but that accordion weighs 35 pounds.
They're heavy.
And at the end of the night, your shoulders ache a little bit. But when you're playing on a motor coach, that's even worse. The motor coach is moving and you're fighting that inertia. with that weight on your shoulders, and it's not fun.
Especially when he slams on the brakes.
Right, when he slams on the brakes, you're going through the front window.
Well, I almost did once. I'll tell you. Well, okay, I'll tell you what. Milan, we've got to come up with a few commercials. So here on 1560 WATJ, we've got the commercials. Okay, and we're back with Polka Showcase with Al and Milan Racaonvic. And Milan, we were talking about some of these guys, some of the fellas that you played with before you even had a band, or maybe after you quit having a band. I don't know.
Well, during the time that I was actively playing, we had some very good musicians perform with us. As a matter of fact, Al, as you may recall, before the show started, you and I were discussing the first TV show that I ever did, and you were the banjo player on it, and I happen to have a picture of that.
Boy,
of you with the band.
I'd like to see that.
Yeah, we're gonna have to get that one. Do you remember the old TV show days, Al, when it was live?
Yeah.
Before they started taping, and when you made a mistake, the whole world knew you made a mistake.
That's right.
I still can recall those days when they started a countdown, and they got down to 0, and they gave you the go sign. And all during the time they're starting to count down, you're looking at your fingers, make sure they're on the right keys. You're starting to perspire. You know, am I going to hit the wrong note, get started on the wrong foot? It was really a pressure thing when we were doing it live. Those were the good old days. Then they started it on tape. And if something went askew or went bad, you could always cut, stop, and start all over again. And then there was good old Herman Spiro. Gosh, he's long gone to happy hunting ground, but he was the producer of the show. And
all the varieties.
Oh, it seemed like he put so much pressure on you, just the way he looked at you, like, are you going to screw something up? I remember those days with Herman. But in addition to you performing with us, we've had such people as Bobby Bohines. I don't know if you recall him, Al.
Bobby, guitar and banjo player?
Right, guitar, banjo player.
Playing with, what's his name now?
Right, he made it big. He is now performing with Tony Orlando in Branson, Missouri. Very nice guy. And before we cut 3 albums, but before we did that, we had some 45s, and Paul Yanchar did a vocal on one of our 45s. It was called the Dance With Me Polka, which we resurrected. Someone else had done it. And Paul did his usual excellent job. And we've had Eddie Slagle, who formerly performed with my good friend Johnny Vadnal. He played some jobs with us. And Eddie Platt was on our second record. We used 2 saxophones, and Eddie just did a marvelous job for us. So we've been honored, really, to have such great musicians performing with the former Milan Racaonvic band. And
did you know that Eddie Platt is back to playing?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, he's been retired, but he's back to playing. He's played a couple, 2, 3 jobs that I've seen and heard him doing a good job.
Well, Eddie was always a very professional musician, and Eddie is a perfectionist.
Yes.
I mean, if it's a dotted eighth note, it better be a dotted eighth note, not anything else but, right. Or he'll tell you about it.
The other news I'll tell you, did you know Johnny Vadnal's hanging it up?
No, I didn't.
He's playing New Year's Eve, and that's his last job, and then he says he's hanging it up.
Geez, I'm sorry to hear that. John was always a very dear friend of mine. I consider him a dear friend. When I was playing, we did many functions together. By that I mean we had dances that we both threw together at the old Euclid Beach.
Right.
And at Green Darby. John and I used to play there every Wednesday. Remember on Lakeshore Boulevard, the old Green Darby?
Yeah, I'd been there.
We played there, and here I was just a kid coming up, but John and his group, they were good enough to work with me and sort of drag me along by their coattails, and I've never forgotten that.
Well, I'll tell you what, we were all kids coming up, and then when you grow old enough, you can't play anymore.
I know. I pick up the accordion now every 6 months. I play 3 songs, and my shoulders are aching. I can't handle it anymore.
Okay, let's try another one of your tunes here.
I believe this is the Wishing Well Waltz. I think that's where we're at. And this is an original composition.
Oh, right. That's a nice sounding waltz. That was which one?
That was the Wishing Well
Waltz. Yeah.
Right.
Nice waltz. I was going to ask you, what are some of the other bands that you might have performed with?
Oh, gosh, there's so many. We used to, let's see, I'm trying to remember way back. This goes quite a few years back. But I formed the Polka Boosters Club. You're probably familiar with that.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I started that thing. And we did some polka blasts where we brought in bands from Pennsylvania. We brought in Jack Taddy, Frank Kalick. We had our first dance was way back when at 65th Slovenian Home, and the Vadnals also played. Just about 4 or 5 bands. And I'm trying to remember if there was any other groups that we played double jobs with, but I don't think so. Just certain functions. But when we went out to Pennsylvania, we did a lot with work with the Frank Kalick group.
Uh-huh.
We brought him here, and we would go out there, which really was a great time for both, for the Pennsylvania people and for the Cleveland people.
Yeah, Frankie had a nice band. He was down in Pennsylvania there. He also had a radio show, and then at the end, he had a travel agency, I believe, didn't he?
Yeah, that's what I heard. I lost track of Frank.
Yeah.
But he did a good job. He was a great promoter.
You know, we're playing these records. I'm listening. I think I did one with your band, and I don't recall if it was an LP or if it was a 45 or what the heck it was. Do you recall?
I think it was a 45, Al, and I don't have any of those copies.
You don't, huh?
No.
You'll probably throw them away.
Now, Don Sosnowski probably has them.
Yeah.
I imagine he's got them.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, I was wondering about that. Well, it's been a long time. I haven't heard a lot of this stuff here. But anyhow, 1560 WATJ, and now it's time for commercials. And we're back here with the Polka Showcase with Al Markic and guest Milan Racaonvic. And you were saying some of the other musicians that played with you. One was
Joe Pianicki.
Joe Pianicki, the late and great, huh?
Yeah, Joe passed away. He was a tough drummer. You couldn't move him holding the tempo. He held the tempo no matter what the accordion player did.
You're right.
And Mike Dragus played with us for a while, performed with us, and
Mike did too, huh?
Yeah, he was an excellent bass player. Yeah, one of the many people that we had in the group. And as a matter of fact, my good friend Marty Sintek, he was working for us for a while in the travel business. He and his wife Elaine, they did a bang-up job for us.
Wonderful.
Yeah, then Marty wanted a little more time for himself, so consequently he left, and we missed him. They both did a great job for us.
Yeah, Marty was a great accordion player.
Yeah. That last record he played had some nice tunes on it.
You're right.
Nice original tunes.
You're right. I had the pleasure of being there. I enjoyed it. He was good. Okay, we've got time. Let's play one more of your tunes here. And then before we go up to the news there, then we can flip that record around and go on the other side. So,
well, I think you'll recognize this one, Al. This is the Melody Bar Polka, and this is from Melody Bar in Wisconsin. You remember that? You've performed there also.
Oh, on 100 and Layton Street.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
How about the Melody Bar Polka?
You know, Milan, I'm beating my brains out here trying to think of the owners of the Melody Bar, Melody Bar up there in Wisconsin area near Milwaukee, 100 and Layton Street. And you got it written down on the back of your cover here.
Right.
Steve and Roz Silber.
Silber, right?
Yeah.
We had some great times up there.
Oh, they were great people, I'll tell you.
Wasn't there another place called the Bluebird?
No, there's a place called the Blue Canary.
Blue Canary.
It's close. It's a bird.
It's a bird.
It's a bird. Yeah, that was a Blue Canary.
Yeah, I recall those places. It was just, great times. I sit here and listen to my own album being played, and it brings back so much nostalgia. I haven't heard this album, for years. I haven't played it. And there's just so much, so many good feelings and good memories that it brings back to me. 17 years is a long time not to be on a bandstand.
Yeah, right.
How many albums did you cut?
We cut 3 albums.
3 albums?
Yeah, the second album we did with, that's where Eddie Platt appeared on the second album. And also we featured vocalist Bipa Statnik. I'm sure people in the Slovenian community are familiar with her. She's a great lady and has an excellent voice. And when I heard her on the Al Tursic album, I said, well, we've got to have her on one of our albums. And we also had Bee appearing with the orchestra for a period of time. She was our featured vocalist with the drummer at that time, who was Jerry Germana.
Did she travel with you guys?
We mostly played, locally. We didn't do too much traveling at that time. Right.
Did you know that John Postotnik, her husband, has a show here on Sunday morning?
No, I wasn't aware of that.
Well, he's got a show from 10 to 11 that's called the Magic Sounds of the Button Box. And then the daughter, Linda, has a show from 10:30 to 11, Reflections of a New Slovenia.
Well, he better play his wife's record, or he might be in trouble.
He plays the button box stuff. I play his wife's record.
Oh, you play his wife's record.
Yeah, Harry and I played it here the other day, I guess.
In fact, this is the only copy. I have a copy with me, and it's the only one that I have left.
Yeah.
I think it's the only one in existence, possibly.
Well, you better hang on to it.
Right.
And when you're not looking, I might steal it, so be careful. Yeah, they both have a show here on Sunday mornings, 10 to 10:30 and 10:30 to 11 o'clock. Linda has the Reflections of a New Slovenia, and John has Magic Sounds of the Button Box.
He says he tries to keep the button box alive in the city.
Yeah.
Well, I think
That's
there's
what
more
he's
than the
trying to
button
do.
box that you have to keep alive. After the news, maybe I can expound on this a little bit.
Yeah, well, stay tuned. We're going to the news.
Playing America's popular favorites from the heart of Maple Country. This is 1560 WATJ in Chardon.